Okay, what is up, guys? Welcome to the second of the two videos that I'm going to be touching on the international content, the Fiend Arenas and so forth. We're actually on our special little temporary file of New Game Plus, where I have just gone through the game with only my Fiends, who are now, as you can already see, level 48, 43, and 36. And Unariku Pain are at their default levels of 2 each, okay? I actually think you can get them a little bit lower than this. This is a pretty classic setup. This is what a lot of people who play the international version of the game end up doing. And they do this because then when they recruit new Fiends into their groups, like this Flame Dragon here, the Fiends come in at an ultra low level and then can be really easily maxed out in the Fiend Arena and, to finish their stories and move them on. So it's been pretty interesting playing through this way, rushing through the game as fast as possible with a charm bangle on the entire time. It's amazing how quickly you can get through stuff when every boss dies in less than quarter of a second because of your OP Fiends and you don't get a single random encounter. Also, through the nature of X-2, obviously, most of it's optional stuff. So right now, where are we? We are at the end of Chapter 3. I'll just show you guys my airship destination list. We're at the point where we could optionally go to Bevelle and see Nuge, Baralai, and Gipple meeting there. See that moment that Shuyin leaves Nuge at last. He's been in Nuge since they left the Den of Woe 2 years ago. And then finally we'll actually go into Baralai, who will then become, possessed and try and choke a Vegna gun and run off. So that's the point of the story we're in. We're just before Jose Temple. We're in the midst of the Aeon uprising. The Aeons, of course, have now been explained to us. It's because Shuyin possessed the Faith, who didn't want to be summoning anymore, but because Shuyin did that, he kind of worked them in his favor. And that's actually very appropriate, because today what we're going to unlock as one of the new arenas is the Aeon Cup. Oh, yes. So, what do I mean by that? Well, I've been kind of sneaky with you guys. In the Battle Simulator, our lists, they've slightly been grown and so on. But I haven't shown you guys the last page of the Battle Simulator for a very good reason, for a while now. And that's because on the last page, you'll see I actually have the option to fight Ifrit. Huh? Well, so this was something I recorded a long time ago, a long time ago. Turns out one of the fiends that you can capture in Chapter 1, when you release him, he kind of has a special perk, a special component to him. And that is that within this fiend is a faith fragment. Actually, I do remember briefly describing this to you guys before. So there are various fiends out there throughout the chapters, which if you catch them, you can actually unlock fiends for the arena, unrelated to Shuyin and that story and so forth, but it is still pretty cool. So if we go to Creature History, you get Ifrit from the Flame Dragon, okay? This Flame Dragon here, who was the boss in Chapter 1, Besaid, you remember the cave? If you actually catch him after you beat him, look at those little, wings he's got, that's interesting. It says there's no fiend tail, nothing to release, but if you release him the first time you release him, you actually unlock Ifrit because he's got a faith fragment in him. So what I'm doing as I go through the game again now here is I am capturing different fiends that have faith fragments in them. And indeed, we've already got a couple more. So I'd like to show you guys that. Flan Blanco, this guy's from the Moonflow in Chapter 2. So you get Ifrit in Chapter 1. In Chapter 2 here, you get Flan Blanco. And as you can see, where it says release here this time, it says creature analysis failed. He doesn't even have a story, but it says this fiend has a faith fragment. We release. It's actually kind of funny. I tried to catch this guy so many times on my original playthrough of the game, but it just wasn't coming in. It just wasn't working. But now, apparently, on this New Game Plus, it is. I don't know. I had some oddity there. As you see, when we release it, we get this cool little cutscene. And mysteriously, we get taken to the arena, and we get to see basically a fiend be born here, or an opponent for us. This is Shiva. And so there's actually one of these final 3 tournaments we're looking to unlock. One of them is the Aeon Cup. And the only way to get the Aeon Cup is to find every Aeon through faith fragments throughout the game. So we've already got 2, which is a good start. The unfortunate thing is actually one of them, you remember that Jumbo Cactar we talked about so much last episode? The Jumbo Cactar actually hosts the faith fragments for the Maga Sisters. And that means that on this New Game Plus, I actually do have to do the entire Cactuar backstory again, so that I can access the Cactuar Hollow, so that I can catch a Jumbo Cactar, so I can release it to unlock the Maga Sisters, so that I can eventually unlock the tournament. Yeah, so that's been a bit of a pain, but we're already I've already done the first 5 Cactars in Chapter 3. I've done all the ones that are possible. I just got to go to Chapter 5. That's not it, only with Shiva, though. In Chapter 3, the Mycotoxin becomes available, 1 for each chapter so far. The Mycotoxin, once again, has a faith fragment. This is, again, one of the early game summons. I don't know why they do it in this order. You get Ifrit first, then you get Shiva, and then you get this summon. It would have made sense to have this summon be the first. Maybe you guys can see there already. Yeah, it's Valifor. And these are the dark equivalents. And for what it's worth, the Aeons that you battle here in the Fiend Arena and for the tournament are more dangerous versions, generally speaking, than the ones you fight in the main story. I think a couple are the same stat-wise, I think, but many of them are super buffed up and super upgraded. Not that they'll be too much of a threat for us. And then finally, oh, well, okay, so then all we've got left is our regular team plus that creature there called the Deva. And that's why I'm talking to you guys now in Chapter 3. We'll get to that in a second. Let's go to the Fiend Arena and check out these Aeons, shall we? This will not unlock the tournament until we have all of them, but we can battle them in the Battle Simulator and get ourselves some cool enough gear, I guess. See, and then Shiva appears at the top of the list here, and Valifor's below. It's weird. Anyway, so here's Shiva. I really don't think she'll pose too much of a threat. Now, my Fiends are not level 99 anymore, but they do have all the stat boosts and all of the items and everything I gave them before, so they're still stupidly quick. And they're still owning the crap out of everything. It's been amazing as well, going through this version of the game again, to see how quickly we level, guys. It's mental. We level so fast. I remember getting stuck getting that ribbon, and it took me like an hour. And finally, my girls went from like level 30 to 40. This Fiend team got there so quickly. The cool thing is, because I still have the Covenant of Growth garment grid, which is XP times 2 for Fiends, I can just have that permanently equipped on them. And then so we've got Valifor here, the most recent that we've unlocked. Unfortunately, nothing like the Dark Aeon system from International in 10. I think that would have been really cool. Because, of course, don't forget that... Well, look, Valifor seems a hell of a lot tankier. And Impale there from the Machina does 9,999. Down he goes. Oh, the other advantage as well of me going through the game in this way is that I can actually get another break damage limit. I can get an invincible just by talking to the cameraman each chapter. So that's pretty nice. And there you go. You get a wall ring. Very nice. The wall ring is what you feed people to teach them auto wall, which is good. Wall being shell and protect. So there you go. 3 Aeons. That's what we can do in Chapter 3. But the main thing that we can do in Chapter 3 that is very important is related to this last Fiend that I have, who I'm now going to release, called the Deva. And this is another one of those long stories. Remember the Machina Panzer story where there were 3 Fiends that chained into each other? There's also another one with a haze and a deep haze. I don't know whether that made it into the series in the end. I'm actually very likely to do a stream where I go through every single thing in the bestiary for you guys. It'll be like an optional video you can watch if you like. And we go through all of the stories because some of them are so cool and they have mini games. But this one I'm about to show you is thoroughly important. It begins with a Deva. This is a random enemy you can find in Kilika when you're liberating the temple from Dark Ifrit. You see, he's only got 3 story levels, but it's very interesting. It says, analysis failed. The Fiend has no life readings. So Shinra's talking to us, and he says, something's wrong. This is no ordinary Deva. The age is thought to be 0, a newborn, a breed very similar to Deva, but I don't sense any human memories from it. Could it have been born a Fiend? Impossible. Well, actually, some of the tales do touch on this idea, so I don't know why Shinra's so curious about it, but fine. Fiend has no life readings. He says, no amount of analysis is providing answers. This Fiend appears to be not of Spira. Not of Spira? Furthermore, it seems to be analyzing us. Woo! And now we're going to release it. This begins a very cool story, guys. That eventually results in another tournament. So here's Shinra. Something's wrong. Can you hear him laughing? Oh, menacing. For those of you who wanted a bit more story in the international stuff, this is definitely where you're going to be getting a lot of it. He's just so evil. I love these enemies too. The design of them, so cool. Ah, and then the friggin' lipless mouth. Man, I watched such a terrible horror called Crimson Peak, and I was so sad to see it had friggin' Loki from the Avengers in it. It was a Guillermo del Toro movie. I just did not enjoy it. Did it end its own life to prevent being analyzed? So it killed itself. It ate a cyanide pill, damn it. Something is moving this Fiend. Some dark entity with a strong will and purpose? We don't know what this entity is yet. Creepy, though. Shinra's so cool. I love how much Shinra's got to do in International. Oh, and then the Fireflies reform. It's back. And it looks different. It's evolved. It's more evolved than before. Like, the similarities to Pokemon, come on. Remember I told you guys that some Fiends can evolve? It basically just relates to this story. Let's try growing this thing, then. So, mysterious creature. Doesn't seem to be from spirit at all. Has no human memories. Seems malicious as all hell. And then this becomes Akamana. Now, I'm totally going to get the wooden potatoes trivia wrong here. Definitely check in the comments. Because maybe I'll be... because maybe someone could set me straight here. But I don't know whether that's actually an enemy you find anywhere else in the game. And certainly the way that we capture it is very different too. Usually you go to that screen like the map select and catch stuff. But what's happened here is we've released the old fiend and it's just dumped Akamana in our roster straight away, directly. So there's no actual capturing. That other story with the adamantite that we did, what would happen is you'd catch a fiend, you'd do its thing, release it, and then you'd sort of get pointed to another area. Like, then you'd go to the Xanakan ruins and catch the Machina there or whatever. Eventually, you'd get the Machina Panzer from the Thunder Plains. But in this situation, it just throws it directly in. So that's pretty interesting. What we're going to do is jump him in our party. He came in at level 2 because of the girl's average level. We'll have him with just logos. He's a medium-sized fiend, like the original one. And you guys will see how quickly we can level this guy. This is totally unnecessary, but check this out. If we turn off first steps, right, and we just go salvation... Oh, no, not salvation promise. Not salvation promise. Covenant of growth, there you go. Which is double XP, all right? If we give him double XP, and then we go to my tried and tested farming group, the Hellbreeders, okay? There's a chance the Hellbreeders will kill our fiend here, and he won't get any experience, in which case we just have to redo the fight. But in general, even when they're oversold, as you saw there, Logos is fast and lucky enough to be fine. There's a Fire Aga. And so he just got experience from 3 reasonably leveled characters all at once, and watch his levels. Look at that! Oh, it's so good. Just ding, 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 ding. Obviously, we've got way over the 5 levels he needs to max out his fiend story, and we're done. We can go straight back. We've got the story. So this is the technique. This is... a pretty cool way of going through things if all you care about is the international stuff. But of course, you do want this on the back of a file that gives you a lot of the other items and things that are available too. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing good. I'm starting to really get some great feelings of satisfaction and relief, seeing how close we're getting, knowing that a lot more of the recording setup isn't so broken. Oh, I know I keep banging on about it, but you guys have no idea how much of my psychology it plays with. All right, here we go. Creature history. And Akamana. He's also only got 3 levels. Oh, he laughs all creepy. Fiend has no life readings. Shinra says, this fiend has been reborn. Age thought to be about 3. It died once and then was reborn. It's evolution. The fiend is going through a sudden mutation. It seems to be phasing between this world and the far plane. I can feel something, like it's trying to communicate with me. But it speaks some unknown language. Maybe it's not talking to us, but to some faraway world. This fiend may be a visitor from another world. Oh, maybe like the Final Fantasy VII world? Woohoo! You know, it's crazy they go like other planetary kind of stories when we've only really seen one continent on Spira. It started again. We didn't even get too much information, so we just powered it up. We leveled it up 5 times, and then it's evolving. This fiend sheds its life. I missed that dialogue. Through constant death and rebirth, it evolves. I have no control in these fiend tales, by the way, guys, of how fast the dialogue goes. It's the 3rd form. It's quite powerful. I love the idea of taking one of these guys into your final party. I never showed you guys, but like these fiends have got some great abilities. They've got like total limit break and all kinds of fun stuff. So this is the Ashama. This is where we get him. I must have been wrong about the other versions. I'm sure that they're available. But here's something kind of cool. If we go to develop creature, hopefully he's got something. Ashama, do you have anything? He doesn't. He only has normal stuff. What you can do through Unlearn, one thing I never talked to you guys about, is if you see like a really weird sounding fiend ability, like one of the, like the original version of this guy before we started evolving him, he had a fiend ability called like Thanos' emblem or something weird like that. It wasn't actually Thanos, it's because I'm talking about the goddamn Avengers. Anyway, you would never know what that is, but by going to the Unlearn menu, you can mouse over anything you like and get that help stat, right? So he also learns total limit break very easily, and that's both break HP and break damage limit together. There is no idea of breaking MP limit and stuff in this game. MP is basically just a non-mechanic, as you can imagine. All right, Ashama. And like I say, we can just have him on Songstress. It doesn't really matter on first steps. Like I say, you don't need Covenant of Growth. You don't need to double the experience. He will get to level 5 from a single battle. It's just fine. Your only risk is if he gets one shot. So let's train this guy up as well. You'll notice that my roster's a little bit more empty right now. That's because on basically nothing resets on New Game Plus. Your bestiary stays the same. All the fiends you've captured and the progress and the amount of tournaments that you've won, all those stats stay the same. But... see, even the Gug oversold there, and he's the real threat. But the battle lists do reset. So you have to play a lot of the tournaments if you want to fill all of this in again. But it's really not a big deal. Here we go. A Shamer. 3 story levels. Laughs. This fiend has been reborn, age thought to be about 10. It seems to have acquired linguistic capabilities. It says it's an envoy from the fiend world. But it's just a kid. The fiend world? Get ready, guys, because you're going to hear some about this. All right? So, this fiend is from the fiend world? It's a place located between Spira and the far plane. Woo! I actually really like this. This is probably the last you're going to hear, like, a big revelation about the way Spira works and it interacts with life and death and so on. It's very, very cool. So, Shinra says it's building up power. Could it be preparing to evolve again? I checked the ancient texts and found a legend that tells of a fiend world between Spira and the far plane. This fiend is a rare species called an envoy from the fiend world. It appears to have awoken for some purpose. I wonder if we can say then that all of these fiends that we've, even back into the ones from the Omega Dungeon, the previous game, I wonder whether it's fair to say that they were envoys from the fiend world too. In some ways, I think this is really cool. In some other ways, I think it's kind of just like a lazy way of getting all these fiends to have a story. I don't know. It's finished? Well, just like in Pokemon, you can only evolve so many times. Looks like it perished. It's dead. I don't buy it.
Small folk. So you are the arbitrator of this world.
Something weird's come out. Hold on. And this time it evolves not even into something of the same species. What does that mean? Arbitrator. Are you the arbitrator of the world, Shinra? Now, if you knew her in this situation, she would, you know, think and... I'll handle this. Oh god, Shinra, what have you got yourself into? My name is Shinra of the Gullwings. I represent Spira.
Prove your mettle. Raise my powers.
Woo! So yeah, randomly it becomes, I think he's called Jahar or something? Jahi, there you go, Jahi. Which of course we do know was he also a fiend that could be encountered at Kilika in Chapter 3? Why do I feel like he was? I remember talking about Jahis anyway. Alright, so once again, we're just gonna quickly nip into our Fiend Arena, level him 5 times, exact same process as before. I'll cut the whole thing out for you guys this time. I don't know why, but I really like Jahi's icon on the user interface there. It looks cool. Looks really cool. Alright, there we go. Jahi also now leveled up. Mere moments later, 3 story levels. Fiend has no readings. Final form of the Fiend World Ambassador. Training this fiend will have me recognized as Spira's representative. Still no response, I'll have to be patient. They're testing me. This fiend world is ruled by fiends that was sealed off from Spira long ago. There has to be a reason why it's resurfacing after all these years. Also, I still don't know why I was chosen by them. Still so many mysteries to be solved. But I'll get to the bottom of every single one of them. Alright. Summoned by a fiend. Go, go, going. He's singing the song. Shinra, huh? Alright, Jahi, what do you have to say? You have observed us.
The time has come. The time for arbitration.
The evolution is complete.
Begin arbitration. Let's not lose our nerve here.
Why have you come here to Spira? I don't know who's supposed to be talking sometimes. Jeez.
In times when the worlds of humans and fiends were still connected, both humans and fiends lived peacefully without violating each other's boundaries. But that age of coexistence came to an abrupt end. One who would disturb the established peace appeared. A rebel. The rebel invaded the human world and schemed to put humans and fiends at odds. So we sealed the path between the two worlds and cut our ties with the humans. The fiends that were left behind at that time are the ones you see today. This was thousands of years ago. Only a short time in the minds of fiends. But now, having spanned that time, humans and fiends will reconcile. Looks like we're getting to the heart. Shinra says, looks like we're getting to the heart of the matter. I guess if it's in italicized, it's him. The fiend rebel still holds ground in Spira. As a token of peace between our kinds. Hand the traitorous rebel over to us. That is our request.
So Jahi became 2 fiends there. Well, that's a nice convenient deal for you guys, isn't it? And it's for us. Humans and fiends can't coexist peacefully at this point anyway. What do you mean? There's no point in even negotiating with you. Shinra, you're being evil!
Humans have changed.
Yeah, the Fiend Tales have been showing a lot of interaction between the two.
Fiends do not change. Hand the traitor over to us.
I love the suggestion that fiends see time slowly because they're immortal, showing their true colors finally.
When the traitor appears, we shall return.
You're either really going to like this, I think, guys, or you're not. Because it's like, it's a big story. It's a big idea that they're throwing here. And they're putting it kind of in a slapdash way. So shady. How could they even think we'd trust them? I trust them. We're going to do it, Shinra. There really are no other hints to work off of either. So you're either really going to like it. Here we go. We get full-on mission, just like with the Machina Panzer story and a couple of the other ones. I kind of like it because it's like, hey, here's more information. The time scale, right? Thousands of years. It's kind of like, oh, all right, the last 1,000 years have been the Sin story arc. But what about long before that? What about before even Bavel and Zanakan became these huge mechanized cities? What about just this raw nature of fiends versus people? What about this idea of when everyone dies, they become a fiend, and where have all the fiends gone? How does this work with the far plane? A whole idea of another world. It's cool, right? I don't know. I like it. Capture the fiend that rebelled against the fiend world. Rebelled against the fiend world. There is no data about its appearance. Just look for shady fiends. Well, that's not very helpful at all, is it? Thankfully, though, guys, you got good old wooden potatoes to help you out. We're going to get a trap pod L. What we're going to do is we're going to go to trap a creature. I have no idea how Squeenix expected us to figure this out. I especially have no idea how people, when in the Western world, we were only playing this with frigging reading Japanese and trying to terribly translate it, how they figured out how to progress this story. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I actually still have a guidebook in Japanese of Final Fantasy X-2 I once upon a time posted. I might show you guys that at some point as well. Anyway, check it out. What we want to do is go to Jose. We're going to go with a special pod. And what we're going to look for... Actually, I don't know what to look for. What we're looking for is a demon wall. Reptile, helm, bird, flan, plant, element, drake, ruminant, evil eye, wasp, reptile, lupine, bomb, blade, fungus, basilisk, defender, machina, imp, revenant, sagan. I don't know. Sahagan, maybe? Oh, maybe it's the imp revenant species? I don't know, guys. Alright, we're back. What we actually needed was an M pod, and I didn't have a single one. I would have thought we could have got it with an SP pod, because the idea is that they're really good pods that you can get anything you like. But since it's not a specific species we can target, I guess we need the M pod. Oh, and we got the wrong fiend anyway. Oh. Alright, I'll be back in again in a second, guys. I got to do another tournament to get another M pod now. Alright, let's try again. Still only a single M pod. Here we go. Managed to get it from the tournament. I've got to be very careful when I've got so many pods. There we go. We get a tomb. Now, the tomb only appears available for capture at Jose after you've done the preceding story. Yet there's nothing when you capture, as you guys just saw, that's special about it. Nothing special about his appearance. No asterisk next to his name. No quip from Shinra. It's simply just, oh, hey, here's a tomb. But he only becomes available there, and I believe in Chapter 3 too. So that's why I'm doing this in Chapter 3 instead of getting all the cactuars and doing all the Aeons and everything before recording with you guys, because we kind of have to do it right now. All right, so now let's go back down to the Fiend Arena. Let's level him up a couple of times, and let's continue the story. 3 story levels. Analysis failed. Here we go. No life reading. Shinra says the Fiend seems to be a key for unlocking something. The creature is totally unresponsive, so it's impossible to tell if it's living or dead. Fiend has no life readings. Some ancient characters are written on its body, hard to decipher. Something about the king's grave. I need to study up more on this ancient language. Woo! See, Shinra offhandedly mentioned some ancient texts earlier. I think it's a bit of a shame that... Well, maybe it's not a shame. I don't know. We need to keep our expectations in check. Once again, another story taking place just in the arena here. We get, like, the Yevon temple music. And this ray of light. What's the connection? Is this the deadly fiend? Is this the betrayer? This animation is an awful lot like when you create Aeons, huh? Trapbots SP. That marks the end, guys. There you go. That's it. He's gone. The tomb is gone. After this point, there's no more Aeon faith fragments we can get. And we cannot continue that story either until we once again get back to Chapter 5. So I'm going to go off, do that. I'm going to catch the rest of the cactuars, do all that stuff. It should just be a small break in the video, and I will see you in just a moment when we're there. For now, though, I've got Jose Temple to save in about one shot from Logos. That should be cool. Okay, guys, I did want to cut into this section with a little bit more of an interesting place than the airship with some stories to boot. But I started recording a little bit early and just whatever. Hey, we're back. We're now in Chapter 5. Not only are we in Chapter 5, but we've done a hell of a lot of other stuff too. Because as it so happens, getting to Chapter 5 wasn't the only thing I needed to prepare for. So, I know we're in the middle of the story with the dolmen and all that kind of stuff. But what I want to do now, guys, is get the rest of the Aeons ready. I'm really excited about this, and for what it's worth, I'll just say going into this, I know how to unlock all the stuff that's coming up, but never in my life have I played it. Ever have I played it. I've spent a long time here making sure our group is ready. All three of us are level 99 once again, as well as I spent a fair amount of time doing even more stat maxing, like building up my Machina's magic defense, building up all of their health just in general. Hopefully we're good enough to get through the tournaments, but I really have no idea if we are. But this is it today. Hopefully we manage to see the end of this stuff. But first of all, let's do the Aeons, okay? We're going to go back to Trap Creature. Now that we're in Chapter 5, we can make a little bit more progress. So we've got Valifor, we've got Ifrit, we've got Shiva. Who else is kind of on that low-level list? Well, Ixion is. And we're better to get Ixion than the Thunder Plains. Now, what we're actually trying to catch from the Thunder Plains here, though, is a Machina, funnily enough. A Machina Striker. And the Machina Striker, you can only get after you've unlocked the Thunder Plains dungeon. So I'm just going to go an SP pod here, and hopefully we'll get it. You can only get it from the Thunder Plains dungeon. So not only did I get to level 5, but I've also gone back into the Maths Cave and done that. That's a Machina Leader. Fine, I'll grab for now, I suppose. And then we'll say proceed. Let's try just with a small pod, I guess. And any of these bonuses, any of these extra fiends that I catch, I'll just level off screen and dump away for you guys just in the middle of recording here. So we'll go back to the Thunder Plains and let's try an S-pod round up. I do like the look of these Machina, by the way. They seem kind of rare when you see these this style of them, but they are very cool. Machina Soldier, that's still not good enough. Okay. I mean, I know we do like our Machina. I actually bought a, I actually trapped a special backup one as well off screen before. All right, and then once again, no, not Jose. Back to the Thunder Plains. Let's try an SP pod again, because I'm pretty sure they'll only appear in small. Let's go once again, Machina. I mean, the Striker isn't one of the bigger ones, is it? It's not like one of the medium-sized ones. Killer Machina, oh my god. Game, how many Machina are here? How many Machina are there in the Thunder Plains? This is crazy. Okay, we'll set another trap pod. I'm sure we'll get plenty of special pods, and I do want some special pods to show you guys some of the cool stuff very soon. Alright, and then we'll just go again with the Machina. Now, because we've got some in our party, that means that they won't appear here again, so it's best to keep searching now. Assault Machina? You've got to be crazy. You've got to be crazy. Alright, we'll swap it with the Machina Ranger then. Alright, let's get rid of that guy there then. Assault Machina. Alright. It's empty? What do you mean it's empty? This is outrageous. Okay, even though it appeared empty, let's try a large pot. A large pod? Is there really a large Machina in this game called a Machina Striker? Really now? Oh, what? Oh, he's an obliterator? How am I supposed to know that? I don't recall ever getting in a fight with those. But then again, we do play with no encounters in that cage. There you go. This is the guy we're looking for, the Machina Striker. Okay, we'll get rid of the Machina Soldier for him, okay? Yes, there you go. Machina Striker. We just wasted all of our pods on that. All we had to do was use a single large. Whatever. All right, so let's, let's go to the creature creator menu. I guess I will level these guys and throw them all out. So I'll give you guys, I'll see you guys in a second. All right, so yeah, just cleaned out some of the fiends that we had with us. Just leveled this guy up. I believe that the way this works is he's going to say that the fiend lives to fight if you don't level him up. But since we have leveled him up, when we mouse over him now, the Machina Striker, it should say he has a Faith Fragment. There we go. So yeah, this fiend has a Faith Fragment. If you don't level them, you won't know that. It just says that they live to fight, and you have to get rid of them. So yeah, Machina Striker, now that you have been trained, let's pull Ixion out of you. He's a cool fiend too. I don't know. I'd like to get him stronger. That was a classic example of as a weird ability, as triple play. Which sends all these balls out to hit people. And does quite high chains, actually. And so there we go. The Aeon Ixion has entered the Fiend Arena. We'll battle him later after we've done this whole batch. Next is actually a really cool enemy. And we just got an L pod, which we need for this next enemy. If we're going to go trap, we need to trap in Bevel. Now, for this specific fiend we're looking for the next Aeon, you don't necessarily need to go into the Via Infinito. Remember what I told you guys, that as you find the new dungeons in Chapter 5, it basically adds a whole new selection of fiends. As the deeper you go into the Via Infinito, the more stuff becomes available, by the way. Even Tremor, after you beat Tremor, you can catch him here. Not on this file, because on this file I've not been to the bottom. But yeah, so if we go large pod at Bevel, and we got hopefully we've got 2 shots at this, because there's quite a lot of fiends here, just FYI. We round up. That is exactly what we're looking for, Azzy Dahaka. Now, Azzy Dahaka is someone we'll actually meet shortly in the next couple of videos in the main story, who we haven't really seen very much of just yet. But he also appears here in Bevel for the purposes of trapping. That's going to be our next Aeon. Not only him, though, there are 2 other creatures we want from here. I wonder whether a special pod will do the trick for us. The next is a critical bug. Critical bugs, I think they were at least in the Fiend Colony on the Mian High Road, but you can find them here. So we're going to go SP pods. Oh, God, what variety of creature is that going to be? Well, okay, screw it. Let's not use the SP pod. Let's roll the dice. I know he comes out of a medium pod. So if we get lucky, who knows? Maybe fortune will favor the bold? Oh my god, it did! Oh, amazing! Critical bug. Excellent. All right, he's the next guy we want. Okay, cool. And then there's one more from Bevel too. Let's round it up. And there should be no risk for us this time. This has worked out really well. There should be no risk. We just picked this large pod. At the moment, basically what happens is Bevel in Chapter 5, Azzy Dahaka becomes a large fiend you can capture, and he's the only one you'll get. But then, when you descend the Via Infinito and unlock more bosses, all of a sudden there become more large fiends you can get. For example, Aranea. This is Wen Keenock, who I called Wayne and Keenock in a video, by the way. It's Wen Keenock. I said Wayne because I guess I've been playing Oblivion recently. But yeah, this is the fiend he becomes. So if I went to floor 40 on this file, we can find the Black Elemental, and then deeper and deeper and deeper till we caught Paragon and Tremor and so on for our own team, as I explained, right? So yeah, there's those 3, and then finally, just to show you guys some extra stuff that I've been doing, not only did we have to get to Chapter 5, not only did we have to descend 20 floors of the Via Infinito, not only did we have to complete the Thunder Plains bonus stuff in Chapter 5 as well, but we also had to get all 10 of the Cactars. Woo! Yeah, the first 9 of them at least, to unlock the Cactar Hollow. And, oh god, we got to round it up. And in this way, we can get the Jumbo Cactuar. Okay, there was not an insanely huge cut just there where the critical bug got to level 30 while I was grinding trying to get a single damn L-pod. No. All right, let's drop the L-pod at Beacon Desert. And as we move up, damn it, Pop Fry, you are not what I want. I wanted the Jumbo Cactar. No, oh my god, why? Why have you appeared? Oh my god, do you know what I've just realized happened here, guys? I couldn't get the Jumbo Cactuar because I didn't quite unlock the Hollow. I handed all of the Cactuars in. I did the whole quest, but I didn't quite unlock the Hollow. It's still shut for whatever reason. All right, there we go. We're in the Hollow now. If this doesn't count, I'll be Bob's uncle. Okay, round however many. We got another large pod this time. Now, there's a lot of things that can appear out of large pods here, unfortunately. Let's just hope the game takes pity on us and gives us what we want. It didn't take pity on us. No! No, I don't want you, Elder Zervant. Fine, I'll take the damn Elder Zervant. All right, well, look. Okay, my tactic here is going to be to fill up my party with all these stupid large fiends that can cause me to get bad rolls. But that means that right now our team is full up. So let's level what we've currently got and then release all of our Aeon ones. All right, let's do it that way. Man, the hoops we have to jump through. That's the order. That's the order we're gonna do it in. Okay, all right. Oh my God, it's now 52 minutes since I started recording. 52 minutes, and we still haven't even unlocked the first tournament. This is crazy. Okay, but we are ready. We can release a bunch more fiends now. Let's go in order. We got Azi Dahaka here, who has been leveled enough times, and it says that this fiend has a faith fragment. Do be careful that you actually read it has a faith fragment before you release it. It would be kind of disastrous if it didn't, right? But here we go. So out of Azi Dahaka, now it could be anyone's game what we get, I suppose. But we do get Bahamut. I've talked about a lot in the series already. The Butterfingers stealing ribbons from combo. This guy is way amped up. You might think, oh, the Aeon Cup, it's pretty easy. This guy is way amped up, though, compared to his allies. I'm very curious how my team will do against him, considering how we're doing against Nuge and the Youth League squad and stuff. Woo, it should be pretty interesting. But there you go. So this is this guy with their very, very, very long intro animations. I may cut these down, too. The Aeon Bahamut has entered the Fiend Arena. Am I saying it right now? Not Bahamut. Bahamut. There's not many more chances ever. Oh, and we get an M-Pod. Oh, I don't care about an M-Pod. That's fine. There's not many more chances ever for me to mess that up, by the way, guys. So, get a load of it while you can. Then we got the Critical Bug, who we can release. Also has a Faith Fragment. Well, what would a bug turn into, I wonder? Dark Yojimbo. Sure, because why not? I actually think it would have been quite cool, since presumably the information and the data is still in the game's client, right, or whatever. Presumably, the original uncorrupted Aeons are still in the files. It would have been kind of cool if the arena did those versions of the Aeons. But there you go. Yojimbo enters the Fiend Arena. What the implications of this are in the story as well are quite intriguing too. But I like to think of it as a bit more of a mechanical thing than anything else. And then finally, before we need the Jumbo Cactuar, we've got Aranea, who we can release. Who will become, what have we got left? We've got the Maga Sisters, and we have Anima left. Speaking of old data and stuff that's in these games, some trivia I've wanted to tell you guys for a long time. Actually, people who use Game Sharks and stuff find interesting codes to hack through these games. X-2 International, back when it was only unofficially patched, back even before then, a lot of people liked using Game Sharks. It allowed them to control teams manually without having to use the star system, and that was really cool. But people would look even closer than that, and in X2, regular X, I mean, not X2. And they found all kinds of really cool things, like lots of unused weapons. Cloud's Buster Sword from 7 is actually a massive oversized weapon in this game that you can sort of hack onto your characters. There you go, so you get Anima there. And hopefully he's a little bit more like the other Dark Aeon fights. And there's just generally a lot of cool stuff. Remember this discussion we had about how Waka doesn't appear as recruitable in any of these tournaments or anything in this game, presumably because of the way his bull works and how it doesn't quite mesh. Actually, just recently, 2 weeks ago, I think, people actually found a way through Game Shop codes, I believe it is, to get Waka on your team anyway. And I don't think he throws the ball, he like physically attacks and stuff, but you can do amazing amount of things. If you guys ever, become huge fans of this, definitely check out some of those communities, like those on Game FAQs, because it is very, very, very cool, the things that people are doing. Like having classic Yuna cast Shiva's Overdrive and stuff like that. Anyway, all right. Trap Creature. Now, I've got a plan here. How many large pods do we have, first of all? All right. We've got one large pod, but a lot of SP pods. So here's my idea, okay? What I'll use is SP pods to get all the other big fiends out of the area, then our one large pod. By the way, the Jumbo Cactuar cannot be caught with an SP pod. So we'll target specific species to pull out all the other fiends, and then all that will be left is the Jumbo Cactuar, and we'll use the large pod at that point. It's genius, right? So there is a large blade, a large Sahagin, and a large bee here, in addition to the large imp we've already got, the Elder Zervin, all right? But we've only got 3 slots in our party at the moment, so I can do it with 2, and then I have a 33% chance to get the Jumbo Cactuar. All right, so I guess we'll target the large helm first. All right, and we'll grab him. This should give us a big, big helm. Because, of course, these are all the jumbo-sized creatures that were coming from that cave, correct? There you go. So here we go. Look at him, the heavy sallet. That's kind of cool. I'd love, like, a team of full heavy guys. The problem is, if they're large, then you can only get one in your team. All right, and then what we'll do, okay, and then we'll round up. And we'll capture the large blade as well. And then what should happen, all right, so large blade, you're the blade species. So we should get him. And now when we use this large pod, we have a 33% chance we'll either get the bee, the Sahagin. Oh, no, Shinra, don't tell me it's empty. What do you mean it's empty? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, wait, that's the Bevel one. The Besaid one, sorry. Oh, did I not set one? Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, my God, what a waste. What a waste. I just set one in Besaid. Ugh. You'd think I'd have the hang of it by now. All right, here we go. All right, Beaconell Desert, SP pod, blade species, round up. All these damn bees in Spira. All right, there we go. We get the King Takaba. All right. One more slot in our party now. And please, Jumbo Cactar, if we don't get this large pod, I have to go grind tournaments again to get more large pods just to try. This reminds me of the old LeBlanc issues I had before. That it was so hard to get her in the team. All right, Beaconell, large, round up. Yes! Oh my God, it worked! Jumbo Cactar. Oh, allowing to goings. Get your ass in here. Yes, proceed. Oh my God, I'm thrilled. I'm so happy with that. Okay, good. Oh, and there we go. He is going to become the last Aeon. I just got to quickly level him up. I'll see you guys in a second. He's amazing. He's amazing. Look at him. This is almost worth another playthrough of the game alone. Can you imagine this guy bouncing around fighting most of the bosses in the game? His only ability is Absorb, by the way. Oh my God. Worst fiend yet. You know what he did, right? He drained all of his MP doing random stuff. Like, I gave him auto haste so he'd get through the battle quickly. He decided to cast Hastesia, thus draining all of his MP. So now he doesn't know how to do any damage. So now he's lost against one of the easiest fights I could possibly put him against. Good job, Jumbo Cactar. You continue to stick it to me. He got a level anyway because he did manage to score 2 kills. Jesus Christ. We will release the Aeons from you. Oh, well done. Well done, Jumby. Good job, Jumby. All right, there you go. He's level 6. That's where we want him. Let's go back. Oh my God, look at our team right now with all the Jumbo things. This is so cool. All right, there you go. Jumbo Cactar. Let's have a look at you. This fiend has a faith fragment. Goodbye, Jumbo Cactar. I mean, he's been a great friend in many ways because he gave us all those Rabbite's foots. And 255 luck is one of the things I'm hopefully banking on that will carry me through some of these ridiculous tournaments coming up, of which I have no practice on. And he was even quite good for XP too. But there you go, out of the Jumbo Cactar come the 3 Maga Sisters. I wish they'd maybe put a bit more thought into this, like, you know, some story tie between them. They obviously put some thought into the Ixion Lightning Thunder Plains nonsense, right? But there you go, the Aeon Maga Sisters have entered the Fiend Arena. The Arena Tournament Aeon Cup has begun. Oh my God, all right. Guys, I've been recording well over an hour here, and I just want to reset my hard drive. Yes, give us the L-Pod. So I'll see you in 1 second. I'm going to save the game, reset the recording software, make sure not everything's dead, and we'll be right back.